Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Engadget Expand. My name is Matt Richardson. I'm a contributing editor for Make Magazine. I'm also the co-author of Getting Started with Raspberry Pi, and I'm a huge Raspberry Pi fan, which is why I'm so excited to be here and see the incredible work that everyone has been doing here. So since 11 a.m. yesterday, we've had two teams of 3 people working to create Raspberry Pi projects here on the floor of Engadget Expand. It may sound like an easy task, but it's actually extremely difficult. We gave them materials that they could use, and they could use any kind of materials on the floor as well. Anything they could grab from any other booth, AV equipment or extension cords, SD cards, whatever they could get their hands on. In the Maker Shed, in our little kitchen back here, we also gave them Getting Started with Raspberry Pi kits, which includes the Raspberry Pi, the power supply, some reference information, the book, and some extra, electronics components to help them build their project out. We had 2 teams, and they were given each, the objective was just to create a Raspberry Pi project over the course of the 2 days. We were going to be judging them on a few different criteria. Among them was the concept, the execution, it was the use of materials, and the ambitiousness of the project. And we had judges, Make editors, came through and took a look at what they had made and scored them, and we've already tallied the scores, and we're going to be making the announcement. But before we do that, I want to introduce each team. I'm going to start off with the Sea Slugs. This is Eric, John, and Carlin. Come on up, guys. They're going to tell us a little bit about the project that they made over the course of the past day or two. This is Carlin, and Eric, and John. Okay, so who's going to talk for the team to explain the project? Carlin? Okay, I'll hold the mic for you, and you guys go ahead.
We created a project, pretty much a tracking device. It has 2 parts. You have the collar part, where it has the lights and sounds, and you have the control unit part with the Raspberry Pi. And essentially, you can remote control the lights so that you can find your belongings if you lose them. And the advantage of the Raspberry Pi is that it can create a network so that you can have essentially unlimited range to find your devices. And then also it's controllable by any web browser, phone, computer, anything like that.
And so you have your phone up here, Eric, and you actually have the phone working, and it actually triggers everything?
Well,
You don't have to live demo it, but like...
yeah, we're not connected to the internet up here. And actually, this isn't even running off there because it's not, the server isn't connected up here.
But you had it working before on the floor, right?
We did, yeah. We can activate it. We do have to activate it manually. We weren't able to finish getting the JavaScript code.
And so, John, what's been the biggest challenge over the course of this thing? I know both you and your son you do FIRST Robotics, and you usually have a little bit more resources to work with, and probably a little bit more of a definite challenge. Can you talk a little bit about how this competition is different than FIRST Robotics? I'm going to squeeze in here.
Well, in the beginning was identifying a problem. The idea, that was very difficult. It took us good 2-3 hours just come up with trying to find the problem that we can successfully solve within the period that we were given. And then after that was tools.
Tools. You didn't have the tools you
We
needed.
didn't have the tools. We had the parts, but we didn't have the tools. So we had to limit the scope to something that to a size that we can bite off.
In terms of this project, if you had more time and more resources, how would you improve it?
The transmitter definitely goes smaller. Then the receiver transmitter pair will go smaller. We'll probably get it to work with the existing Bluetooth tracking devices. Because Raspberry Pi, being as powerful as it is one of the very few devices that has 2 USB ports. And it runs almost a gigahertz. So that means one port could be Wi-Fi, the other one could be Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth will track any devices out there. The Wi-Fi running the subnode software will create the mesh network. So actually, it's possible to happen.
That's great. Now, I noticed when you guys were working out there at the table, you had a lot of people coming up and talking to you, just people on the show floor. It was probably a little bit harder than you're used to working in your own workshop because you had a lot of people asking questions. Do you think that was part of the challenge here for you?
Yes, but it's also part of the challenge though to explain to visitors how cool the Raspberry Pi is.
Well, we appreciate you doing that. Thank you guys very much for coming up and showing it to us. I'm gonna, I don't want to step on your keyboard there, sorry. We're gonna talk to the other team here. You guys come on up. This is Team Astronaut Mike Dexter. We have Danny, Andrew, and Say. All right, guys. First of all, tell us who wants to explain what the project is. Danny?
Yeah, sure. So this is supposed to be a steampunk themed photo booth. We came up with the idea based on some of the things that we had laying around, and pretty much once I saw the camera, it was just kind of what we wanted to do. It takes your picture, you pull the knob, and then you have a couple of effects that you could choose from. We had a little bit of trouble getting all of them to react the way we wanted to, because the GPIO pins on the Raspberry Pi were bouncing all over the place, so it looked like every button was being pressed at the same time, basically.
We're actually having EMI issues.
What does that mean exactly?
It's throughout the walls. It's about 60 hertz running through everywhere, and we actually are like little receivers for that. And so if you walk anywhere near it, you're gonna start interfering with the magnetic wave and start coupling into the wires, and it's enough to trigger the sensitivity on the GPIO pins.
So if you had more time, what would you do to solve that problem here?
Actually, we did. I just have to plug it in.
Oh, okay.
I had to plug the rest of the buttons in, but I think we got it licked. I think the negative button should be hooked up for demonstration, so we're gonna try and do that today.
Okay, great. Well, one of you, if you want to start plugging it in, getting it going. I want to talk to Say actually about you. You worked a lot on the aesthetics of the piece. Now, yeah, let's go over here. You guys, you talked about it being steampunk, and you lucked out because you found that what is it? It's armature, brass armature or something. Can you talk about the rest of what you had doing here? I noticed at the end you were adding a lot of extra stuff here.
Well, initially we just thought steampunk would be a good way to go, just because all the photo booths now that you see are usually touchscreen. So we wanted to bring back a little more of that tactile feedback to it. So we went with that whole knob that's kind of reminiscent of the pinball machines. So we added that. We saw those copper wires that we thought was awesome. We can just kind of make something that's steampunky. But then we realized we didn't have paint or other things. So the whole steampunk thing, we didn't have a lot of resources to actually make it pretty. So we just added random stuff, odds and ends, just to prettify.
Now, when I talked to you when we started this whole thing, you said you had a lot to learn when it comes to Raspberry Pi, right? Over the course of the whole competition, did you get a chance to figure a little bit out?
A little bit. Left most of the technical work up to the boys, but yeah, every few minutes I was kind of like, so what are you doing now, and why are you doing that? Or when we ran into the issues, I was, putting up the whole casing around the monitor and everything. So as they were like, oh no, we ran into these issues, I was trying to ask them why and if we can get anything to solve the issue. So I definitely learned a bunch.
Great. Okay, cool. You guys ready to show us a little something here? Yeah. All right. They're figuring out what buttons actually work right now based on the current negative button. We're going to try the negative button here. And what I see some code up on screen here. What coding language are you using?
Bash.
Wow.
It's a scripting language usually used on the command line, but I do a lot of stuff at work with it, and I'm most comfortable using this, so I ended up just going with what I'm solid in. Right now, I'm actually just switching the logic because it's backwards, so all the switches are reversed. And now let's see if it will do what we want.
Good. All right, we'll give it a go.
Say hi!
It's taking the picture now. That's your picture. And we're going to try and make it negative. How long does it take? Takes about 10 seconds.
Oh, there you go.
It works. It works. I'm as surprised as you are.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Cool. All right. So give it up for both the teams. They did some amazing work over the course of 2 days, and I think the judges had a really, really tough job here to figure out which team was going to be the winner here. I want to bring up one of our judges, Mark Frauenfelder, the editor-in-chief of Make, to talk a little bit about what they were looking for and what they thought of the projects.
Sure. So thanks a lot, Matt. Yeah, well, we had a number of criteria to look at: the originality of the concept, the execution of the concept, how resourceful they were. There were a number of factors, and we had to judge each project based on those criteria. And it was a difficult decision, like Matt said, just doing something in this kind of hectic environment with a limited time and limited resources. To get anything that even comes close to working is a major achievement. So both teams really need to be recognized for doing that. I've been involved in a couple of hackerspaces. Let's give them a hand. So it's really impressive. They actually made things that did something, and for that, it's incredible. So. What I liked about both of them is just the resourcefulness. Like, look at how they actually took the project bench, and that's part of it. You know, they took what they had at hand and they just like bolted the plywood into the project bench. That's great. I love doing that kind of thing. It's like stretching the rules to the breaking point. It's perfect. And then the other team with the tracking thing, they needed to activate a switch, and instead of using a relay, they didn't have relays. I don't think they did, but what they did instead was they took servos from the remote control toy that they had and used the actual servo to press a physical switch. And that kind of resourcefulness is like what you need to have to survive in a hack day competition. And both of them did a great job. And I just want to say it was really tough to pick a winner. And I wish they both could have won.
Thank you, Mark. So for all the contestants, they're each going to go home with a Raspberry Pi starter kit from the Maker Shed. They're also all going to go home with these wonderful Make shirts. But only one team is going to get the prize, which is being featured in Make Magazine and a presentation on the stage at Maker Faire New York 2014. So the winner of the inaugural Raspberry Pi Make-Off at Engadget Expand is the Sea Slugs. Congratulations, guys. Come on up. We got a little thing for you here. Congratulations. We get pictures and everything. We got pictures being taken. Come on. How do we get the lights to work? Looks like we've got a bunch of coin cells all duct taped together there. Oh, yes. And then you've got, these are being printed right now, and we have one more. Oh, is that the, oh, there are two more coming. Okay. So one of you can wear it now, and before you leave, you'll get the other. So congratulations to the Sea Slugs. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you guys also. It's been a wonderful experience. I hope you guys had a great time, and thank you for coming, and have a great day. Bye, everybody.